là, il y a trop de wibbly oops. Et là, on n'a pas encore fait tout le...
And welcome to this week's video. Today we wanted to give you a little backstory on who we are, how we ended up here, what we were looking for, and what we ended up with. So we're a French-American family. I'm American and John is French. And for the past,
12 years?
12 years? For the past 12 years we were in Switzerland and neighboring France. The past 6 of those years were really focused on becoming parents and building our family, being super present for our boys as they're in their early years of development and childhood. That was really important for us. So a couple months before the pandemic started was when our second son was born. And yeah, we were just making ends meet. In March of 2021, we got a text message from the landlord of the house that we were renting, telling us that she wanted to move back into her house and we needed to move out. So both of us read that. We were in different places when we read it, and when we shared notes at the end of the day, we both had the same exact gut reaction when we read it. And that was, okay.
Let's move.
Yeah. It was like a push towards a dream that we had been talking about for a long time. The other side of it was we knew that we had a really good deal on the house we were renting, and we knew that because we were self-employed, because it was the pandemic, all of that, it would be very difficult to find a new place. So we were kind of like, let's go for it.
So the idea was basically to move somewhere where we could afford land and grow our own food, have fruit trees, and be with our boys in nature all day. And at some point, potentially, if we can, start a family-friendly wellness bed and breakfast.
Yes. So we did what any logical family would do. We got rid of like 80% of our things, and we packed up our car with the essentials, with our 2 boys and our dog, and we drove to Portugal. Portugal! So we had never actually been to Portugal.
Before we moved, yeah.
Yeah. But we had always heard really amazing things about it, and how nice the people were, and that it was really safe, that the food was good, the climate awesome, and the prices were something that we felt like we could possibly get a loan from a bank for. So that's why we chose it, and we just we were like young, starry-eyed dreamers.
Our first idea was to buy a ruin with some land and renovate it with time. We started visiting properties. We put an offer on one in an area that we loved. It didn't work because someone else made a better offer. And then we changed areas. We had new realtors, we visited new properties, fell in love with another one, made an offer accepted, but the paperwork of the property was not all done, was not all like legalized, registered. So the realtor told us to wait and be patient, which we did. But after 4 months of having no news, we felt that we've waited long enough and that we had to change our plans.
Yeah. We were at this time we were staying in a one bedroom apartment, all of us together. So and it had been long enough that we didn't have stability, that I think we just got to the point where we were like,
Yeah.
we need something else.
And it was kind of a dead end approaching suddenly, so we felt, okay, maybe we should change plans, have new ideas. So we started to think that a good idea would be to buy a little house in a village in an area that we liked, so that we can be based in this area and then explore, visit more properties, and probably find a good one at some point. But at least we would have stability and start to really grow our roots in a place in Portugal. So with that new plan, we contacted the realtor that we already knew and visited properties with. And when we explained that plan, he was like, it's funny you contact me today because I actually just got a new property today, this morning. It's not on my website yet, but here are a first set of pictures. And we just looked at those pictures and felt like, wow, this is crazy. It's beautiful, and it's exactly what we would have done renovating a ruin. It's like the look, the style of what we had in mind. So it was pretty incredible to see, and we asked to visit it as soon as possible. And the day we visited, when he showed up, I go to him and I ask him, so is it today that you show us the future house we will live in? And he's like, yep, for sure, it's this one. And he was right, because that's the house we live in today.
Well, in the end, we're very grateful for that change of events. Life often brings you what you need, and we had in our head one thing, something else turned up, and it's better. We're grateful that we had a place to move into, that we could move in and be okay, and with time do project by project to make it better. But given that we didn't speak much Portuguese at all at the beginning,
We are not handy people.
we're not handy people yet.
And since we live here, we realize that it's not easy to find good, reliable, and available builders. So having a ruin could have turned into a very long project that might have never ended.
Yeah,
so
it could have ruined our lives.
yeah. So
Just kidding.
in the end, we are very happy about that change.
Yeah. High five. When we were looking to buy, John would watch lots and lots of YouTube videos from people sharing their experiences of buying in Portugal, and that was really helpful. If there's certain information that would be beneficial to you, if you're looking to move to Portugal, we're happy to share a more detailed kind of outline of
What happened,
what
and how it
happened,
happened,
and yeah, the buying process, getting a loan with a bank. I mean, it was something else. Yeah. So let us know in the comments if you're interested in more info. And yeah, thanks for listening to our whole story, and for continuing to follow along. We're gonna go check on Panda, because yesterday we gave her coop a little upgrade, and we want to make sure that she's still in there. So we built this little door. Fancy sharing the door with us, Jonathan? Show us how the door works.
It's pretty sophisticated.
Ooh.
can open it. You use your fingers to open this little nut here.
I'm just gonna lounge here in the sun while you feed me greens. So we ended up reinforcing the fencing, which you see behind me, because we want Panda, our bunny, to be able to run around in here in the coop. And once we have chickens also. But for now, we're just focused on Panda. Anyways, the reason that we need to do that is because of this guy. Do you see him? When we first got Panda, his tongue fell out of his mouth. His eyes got all googly. And yeah, it's just been nature. He just has major hunting dog instincts and wants the bunny. So on this side, we put these 3 planks of wood so that he couldn't see in, and we're gonna do the same here so that he can't see in. Because I also feel bad for him. I feel like it's like driving him absolutely crazy and making him anxious. So. Here's our makeshift jack protection fence. We'll sand and saw these properly another day, but for now, this will give us a little bit of peace of mind that we can go do some other projects and have Jack outside and the bunny outside.
You say we're gonna go.
But wait, there's more. We need to add an extra hook at the bottom now because now there's a little crack he can see at the door, and he's a pretty smart dog that would use his nose to open it up. So we'll work on that before we go do other things.
Never stop a full wheelbarrow parallel to the slope. Because it fell and now all my soil is on the ground. Already done that 2 or 3 times in the past, and I kept doing it.
Whoops.
Bon dia. Today we're gonna plant some plum trees that our neighbor gave us. It actually gave us some shoots of his own trees that are really doing well, and because he lives right next to us, it's a very positive sign because it means we can have them thrive on our land as well, knowing that the soil is more or less the same and the weather, of course, is exactly the same. So we're gonna do that today. 5 plum trees to plant on a line near a part of our land that's kind of a meadow. So the trees should have a lot of moisture in the soil, and the soil is actually very good quality down there. So we hope it's gonna work. Let's see. So the idea is to use that line here, that curve here, to plant more fruit trees. We want to keep an access here for tractors potentially when we need machines, and this part here is kind of a meadow in winter. Now it's like very mushy, it's full of water, which is great. That way all the trees on the line are gonna catch the water going down and benefit from the moisture in the soil of that meadow. And here is the line of water that goes out of our land. So I'm gonna start by planting 2 in the middle of these olive trees. I think there's probably about 10 meters distance between the 2 trees. So if I have 2 plum trees in the middle, that would keep a distance of 2 to 3 meters between each tree. It might be a little bit tight But as we don't want them to be very high and very big, just about 2 to 3 meters height, I think it could look great, and I think the soil is rich enough on that spot for 2 more trees to thrive in that small area. If you can see, but here the quality of the soil is really good. Nothing comparable to the terrible soil we have up near the house. This is like brown, it's like there's a lot of moisture, it's beautiful texture, tiny bit of rocks of course, but really good soil. And 2. Jack, what you doing? Now I'm going to get some water in the stream to water them. If that works, it's really amazing. Like, you realize you don't need to buy any fruit trees in the stores. You can just talk with your neighbors, get a few branches, a few shoots, and propagate them. We all really love plums in the family, so I hope this is gonna work. If it doesn't work, we'll try again next year, next winter, when it's the best time to plant the trees. We're just experimenting here and try different things, so we'll see what works, what doesn't, and hopefully we have at least 1 or 2 good free plum trees in the future.
Do you hear that? That's a hoopoe, called a pupa in Portuguese. It's one of our favorite birds, and that's its call. Woo, woo, woo. So cool.